What's going on, everyone? Adam Gelman here. We are less than a week away from the National Convention in Chicago. One of the main news items is that Select WWE, the 2023 version, is going to be released the week of the show. First off the line has already sort of been sold out and ready to go. It's being shipped. People should likely start receiving it today and tomorrow. So we'll see a lot of what that has to offer at the show as well. We've gotten some great previews overall, but Ryan and I wanted to hop on quickly, go through what we are seeing in the checklist as usual. This is one of the big sets of the year, and I think it's worth us hopping on to discuss. Ryan, how you doing, my friend?
Doing great, doing great. It is Saturday when we're recording this, and I can't wait. It's like 4 days to go, so
Yeah, man.
it's gonna be awesome.
Can't come soon enough, and
Nope.
I know that we were all chomping at the bit to get to Chicago and have a good time, specifically around a lot of what's going down there. We'll get to that at the end of the video, but I think let's start off like Select last year was a breath of fresh air in so many different ways. I've said this on so many different videos, so many different podcasts, probably one of my favorite WWE products of all time. What was your take on Select last year? What did you think of it overall?
I think looking back now that we're a year removed, I think it's probably product of the year for last year. I think the configuration, the fact that they brought a retail only component to the set chasers, which was fantastic, and that's how you get people to buy retail product, especially when it's 30, 35, $40 a blaster straight from Walmart or Target. You have retail only items in there, because if you look at it, if there's no retail items and you get the same exact stuff as a hobby box, why would I buy 5 blasters at $30 a pop or $40 a pop when I can go buy a hobby box and be guaranteed a couple autographs, a couple parallels, and go on from there? So by putting the retail only component in there, especially the mezzanines, it was a genius move, and it really is a great set.
I loved Retail Select. I opened probably 100 blasters. I'm not exaggerating. Like I loved it. It was the tiger stripes, the elephant prints, the mezzanine card with all the parallels. I mean, it was so freaking good. That doesn't even talk about the flash stuff because you had flash parallels as well. You flash autographs. Like that stuff was fucking loaded, and I loved it. But I think the regular set just blew me away. Like I was not expecting to love it as much as I did. Just because it's select doesn't mean that it's ready to be sort of like thrown out into the wild, especially from what we've seen in UFC. But just the sheer volume of what was contained in that set was absolutely incredible. And I loved the photos above and beyond. Like I thought the photography in Select was second to none. And I think that the relics and the autograph checklist and everything that went down through that set was great. Not to mention the fact that we had our first ever 101 WWE logo autographs. A lot of great rookie content. Just it was a tremendous set, I think overall. And there's so many of those cards that I have like on my shelf because they just look great. Like Prism looks good too, but I think the Select design last year was better than the Prism design by a million miles.
Well, what I think is cool too is that when you collect somebody like Becky Lynch, who you collect, you're going to get 3 or 4 different versions too. Now
Yeah.
it makes for a huge chase, because now instead of just doing one card times 20 different parallels, in the 80s probably closer to 100 different parallels if you want to do all of them. So that's cool. You got different format of card, different pictures. I'm just happy because Bruce Beefcake finally broke through and is in this set this year in
Yeah.
the concourse. So I've got something to chase, which is fantastic. But it's a well done set. Has a lot of thought put into it. 2023 is going to look a lot like 2022, though. So if you're
Yeah.
expecting,
I don't think I like the design as much though. I think the ringside design leaves a lot to be desired. We haven't seen it in practice, but I'm sure we will this week. And I think the premieres look better. I think the concourses look better. I think the mezzanines look good. But I think it's like it's not as like we loved like Select 2022 has become like this beloved set, and I think the ringside design from last year was just one of the best I've ever seen in a Chrome card. And like it was from football and basketball too. So like it's not just for WWE. And I think that this year the horizontal approach never a favorite. Like if all of them end up being horizontal, I think that's a major sort of challenge there. But I also believe that like the parallel structure that we're seeing, you know, ringside continues to be like the top of the mountain, and I think it's not the best looking version.
You know, it's for me. I'm just like I said. I'm just happy I got my guy in it. So
Right.
I think when we see it in hand, it'll be a different story. I'm with you. I think having horizontal cards all the time gets tiresome. I like vertical cards, but that's just nitpicking. I think when it's in hand, it's going to look just fine. So I'm not overly
Yeah.
concerned with it.
I think so. There seems to be more of it too. Like in just looking at what's going on in the checklist, seems like there's more parallels. Seems like we're getting some of the same stuff we got, as well as some of the stuff that's new. I mean, Concourse, there's now this black and blue. We still have the tie dyes, the golds, and all the other stuff. So I think like most of that is still pretty much in line. Premier level, we're seeing there's now a blue wave. There's black and blue for that too. I'm not really sure what those are going to look like. But yeah, it's pretty much the same overall. So Premier Gold tie dye still going to be the chase there. Ringside is really a limited run of sort of cards, and I think this is why it's so much more than just the photos and the design. It's like the parallels are very, very limited. You only have the silvers, but you also now have silver die cuts, which are going to be really hard to get a hold of. You're going to have, so you have the case hit silver. I believe you also have a silver die cut. So I'm not sure what the rarity level is going to be there. You're going to have gold, and then you're going to have tie dye as well for those. But as we get into sort of the discussion around first off the line, the first off the line ringside parallels only have 2 copies. So that's just absolutely fucking crazy.
And
But they're
it's
trying.
funny because as I was looking at this checklist, the one thing that stuck out to me was there's only one black 101 this year per the checklist that I'm looking at on Cardboard Connection. So
Yeah,
there's not last year we had the black and golds that
black
were
and
one
gold.
and the blacks that were 101. So you had two 101s. But if you're chasing somebody in ringside, that out of two might as well be a 101. I mean, really.
Yeah.
I mean, when you get down those numbers, three's in the gray area, four is manageable. But if there's only two, that might as well be a 101. I mean, really.
Yeah, it's going to be really tough. And like a lot of this is going to be ripped on Whatnot. A lot of it's going to be ripped on the blade breaking platform. So it's going to be tough to get what you need because there's a lot of stuff that goes into it. There's only 108 cases of first off the line, give or take maybe 120. So there's not much to go around. But I think overall, like the rainbows are really what people do in these sets. It's the chase. It's trying to get your full run. I still haven't gotten the out of 3 from Prism last year. So like the gold shimmer this year was 5. Those seem to be popping out pretty easily because most of it was broken in one place and whatnot. But like when you have out of 2, like that's going to be so hard to find. And I think people now the word is out. So a lot more people ordered the boxes. They sold out well above the floor. And I think like rainbows are going to be tough this year, really tough. There's also Lucky Envelope again. There's going to be the Select Asia stuff. So I mean, like it's really tough to build a rainbow. Congrats to the people that have done it. So give or take
Well,
there.
we should mention that not all of the first off the lines are out of 2. The concourses are out of 7, and the premier levels are out of 4. So depending on where your wrestler or your interest falls, it may not be a 2. Now, ringside tends to
Yeah.
have a lot of the higher A level wrestlers in it because those wrestlers seem to be in almost every single of the.
Yep.
For the uninitiated, Select is a 400 card set broken up into 4 100 card sets.
Yeah.
So you have a base set 1 to 100, then you've got Premier is 101 to 200, and then ringside's like 201 to 300, and then mezzanine, which is probably
Correct.
going to be retail only, is 301 to 400. So
It's very difficult. Very
yeah,
difficult.
it's. I'd be interested to see if Paul and Chuck are going to do it again this year, because I know
They
Chuck.
did it last
Right.
year. They did it last
Paul
year.
Paul has expressed his the monumental task it was to get it done last year. So I have full faith that they'll do it again. I think they will.
Yeah.
Especially, I think people are gonna be ripping this stuff like crazy. So
Yes.
the singles
Yes.
will be out there. So yeah, so though if you didn't know that, the select set's actually 4 100 card sets numbered 1 through 400. So they do break up the rarities as far as the special parallels. Concourse is the base set, so that's the easiest. And then it goes down the line, getting harder, progressively harder. So
Yeah.
yeah,
And then you have retail parallels too. So and there's case hits. There's like the zoo where you have the tiger, zebra, and elephant. Zebra is the case hit for hobby. The retail case hits are elephant and tiger. Tiger being the rarest of all three of the zoos, just because nobody opens as many of the blasters they do the hobby. But to your point, like
they're hard to find too. Man, those cards are hard to find.
it was impossible to find the ringside tiger stripes. I think I've only seen two Becky's that have popped out. I have one, and Matt has the other one. But like, man, like they are. This is the set to like chase. It kept me busy for like 6 to 8 months last year, and so I'm still looking for cards. I've moved some of them out because I gave up on the rainbows, or other Becky collectors wanted to get their rainbows. So like, we're gonna help each other out. I think that this is really a Herculean task for any player collector, any of the main set collectors. Like, I think it's a feat to collect the set. But I want to move on to some of the autograph content because I think there is a few surprises there. I want to start with the Steiners because they are really where I think a lot of the Hall of Fame legend type guys, the new stuff is going to focus around. Scott Steiner, I couldn't find that he's had a Topps autograph or Panini autograph in a while. I know he just recently signed a deal with WWE because they put him in Supercard, they put him in Prism, they put him in a bunch of other stuff. So the figures are coming, everything like that. Plus, his nephew, Braun Breaker, is a mainstay in NXT, so it made sense to get Steiner in there. Rick Steiner's in there as well, despite major issues with some comments that he made at an event, got him kicked out, a few other things. This might be a one and done for him. WWE's already distanced themselves from him, but like this is, if you're a Steiner Brothers fan, and there are a lot of them out there, just because they don't sign much. Like they haven't had many autographs. Scott
No,
Steiner's had maybe a couple of TNA cards, but that's about it.
yeah, Steiner's got a TNA card from 2008, it looks like, and then you got to go back to that fabled 98, 99 Topps WCW set to get a
Yeah.
Steiner autograph. So,
Yeah.
say what you want about these guys as people, they're going to be popular, and they're going to
Yeah,
be
they're going to be
probably
very
relatively
popular.
expensive too. So,
I would expect the Steiner autograph is probably going to be one of the more expensive cards, if not. It really depends. Like he's obviously a controversial person. He always has been. That's his gimmick. His brother just doesn't sign very much either. So like I think going through that plus their relationship to Braun Breaker, it makes sense that Panini would want to get them in sets. From a other side, I mean, we're going to see a lot of the same signers from a legend perspective.
mhm.
Eve Torres, I think, is maybe one that I hadn't seen before. She might have been in Prism. There's this typical Stone Cold, Undertaker, Triple H type of stuff.
Brutus
Well,
Beefcake,
your buddy Brutus is back.
he's got an
He had an
autograph.
autograph last. Yep, he had an autograph last year as well.
Mhm.
But like, this is the type of stuff that the wrestling collectors really have become, really drawn to, is like having autographs of the major legends in every product. Still no Ric Flair. I don't see Macho Man on the list this year. No
Nope.
Vince McMahon, anything. So I
Sting
mean, like, there's
apparently
some,
too.
yeah, Sting. I mean, like, there's a lot of stuff that's still yet to be determined. Like Sting's with AEW, so that makes sense. But I think like there's still some legends to go around. No Sable. The Rock is obviously everywhere. But if you're a player collector of these legends and you want to be a part of this set, I think you're going to have access to some of their cards. Cena, all those guys. From a rookie perspective, we are seeing Roxanne Perez and Nikita Lyons were part of the set last year. Roxanne in mezzanine, Nikita Lyons in ringside and premier. And then you have the fabled Sol Ruka, who is a major sort of focus in Prism. So there's going to be Tiffany Stratton as well as autographs. Like there's a lot of like some of those guys that didn't have autographs in Prism now have autographs here. Sol Ruka's first autograph will be here. That'll be a huge card for people to get, even though she tore her ACL. She'll probably come back pretty strong. Roxanne Perez, Nikita Lyons, Tiffany Stratton all have rookie cards up and down the set. So good stuff there. Rollins, Becky, Charlotte Flair, I mean, Alexa Bliss, you name it, they all have autograph cards on this. So again, like we're getting the mainstays with some new flavor in the Steiners and a few others, that are cool to see. Adam Pearce has an autograph I saw. That's really cool. He's a WW official, Adam Pearce. That's a cool addition to the set. But yeah, overall, I mean, like I'm seeing, given what we know about the product itself, seems to be pretty much in line with last year. Hope it continues to have the amazing photography. I think overall it's going to be fun.
Yeah. The thing I like, and I'm not going to take credit for this, but I did mention in a couple of videos, it would be nice if they had a retail case hit program. I originally said that I think the color blast, you should do 10 to 15 in the hobby and do 5 to 10 in the retail, making it a 20 to 25 card set. Now we do have retail only case level inserts,
multi-case level.
What?
They're not gonna. I don't think they're every case. I think it's gonna be every other.
When I say case level,
I know what you mean.
Yeah, that's to get the point across. They're probably going to be multi-case, especially in retail. They're probably going to be multi-case hits. They're going to be very, very, very difficult to find, and they're the Firestorm inserts. So it's only a 10-card set.
No Roman in the color wheels, or so. Just to give everybody sort of some context here, like there is a case level hit color wheel, which they did for the first time in basketball and football. I can't remember when the first one was. It was recently, I believe. These are popular cards just because they're rainbowish type of colory, cards that the Color Blast sort of the next version of the Color Blast. I'm not a huge fan of them. I mean, like they're kind of simple and they're weird in the way that they just they call them a color wheel. Like I like more creativity. Like I think the Firestorm idea is much cooler than the color wheel idea, but I think the execution of what the color wheels look better than what the Firestorm inserts are. And the color wheels and the Firestorms have different checklists, so I don't think there's crossover between what is the case level hit in hobby versus the case level hit in retail. Roman Reigns is not on either of those checklists. I didn't see Stone Cold. I think Hulk Hogan is on the color wheel checklist, but not the Firestorm. Firestorm, there's like
on there too.
Yeah. So I mean, like you're gonna have some fun cards, and they will be expensive because they're really tough to find. They're like Color Blast, which happen every other case or every 3 cases or whatever. So I would expect that these won't be case hits; they will be multi-case hits. Especially the retail ones are going to be close to impossible to find, just because the retail isn't ripped in the same way. Kids get their hands on them, so maybe these cards end up in a binder on the car floor in between the seats. Who knows? And the Firestorm inserts don't have like something that looks like they stand out more than a normal insert would be. So I think that's even more problematic, but we have to see them in practice. We only have sort of a blurry shot from a retail sell sheet that I just got secondhand. So I think it's interesting. But yeah, I think like when you go ahead.
As far as the Firestorm, it reminds me a lot of the red hot, white hot inserts that Select had for the last
good call.
10 to 20 years. I'm surprised there's not a white hot. I would have thought they would have done a Firestorm set, like a retail set, make it kind of difficult, but not crazy. And then have the white hot, which is what they do is they basically take like a teal and white color and make the flames white with the background teal.
That would have been cool.
Would have been awesome. It's called a white hot. And then the red hot is a red background with, I think, probably orange flames or white flames. But the white hots, if you ever get a chance to look at a white hot in person, they're awesome. They look really good. It's that teal and white. So it's going back to the Macho Man thing again. He's not in another set. And I forget who it was in our chat brought up a good point.
Jamie.
well, I think it was Jamie. He brought up, with Lanny Poffo was probably handling the estate. I'm sure he was, and he just passed away himself. So is it in limbo? Has a license lapsed? What's going on there? But to not have, you know, Macho Man in any of these sets as far as select is odd, because he was in select last year, but he wasn't in Prism, and now he's in Prism this year, but he's not in select. And you know,
And they've canceled figures from what Jamie was saying too. So
right.
I mean, I think the prevailing wisdom is that the Macho Man estate, like, notoriously is difficult to work with, because I think, like you said, Lanny was managing it. Macho Man's family has pretty much all moved from. I think he has an ex-wife that's there, or maybe his girlfriend at the time of his passing. I can't remember like
His
how it
wife,
is,
they're
but like,
married.
his wife. So like all of his brothers, there were two Poffo brothers, and then the father Angelo. I think they're all dead now. Angelo
Mhm.
died a long time ago.
Yeah.
And then I don't think he has any kids, does he?
I don't believe so. No, I don't think he has any kids.
So there could be, like you said, it could be in limbo of where the next of kin sort of lies. But I think those licenses usually are yearly, so it would be a 1/1/24 thing. I'm not sure kind of how this is all playing out, but the WWE doesn't have figures coming out. There's cancellations there. So I mean, who knows what's going on? But Macho Man's a big name that's not going to be in this product. But he probably is one of the more important cards in Prism 2023. So there's still stuff to chase for the Macho Man collectors. Um, I'm still wondering, like, what is the status of Ric Flair, because we have not had a Ric Flair Panini card. There's not been a Vince McMahon Panini card. He's obviously just returned to the product, or returned to WWE. There's still some production timelines that probably have to happen there if he's ever going to have another card. But yeah, I mean, like, we're running out of time here, so I'm curious, like, what's going to
Yeah.
happen. So this will be released on Friday of the national convention. Um, it's going to be difficult to see how distributors get product to the floor, because a lot of distributors travel there before the shipments usually arrive. So maybe if there's some Chicago area distributors or shops that are able to get product to the floor, then it'll be on the floor, maybe in a limited supply. First off the line should be landing well before the show, so we should see some of those there, or at least some of the cards. Um, yeah, I'm excited for next week, man. Like, this is going to be the biggest week of wrestling cards. We said it on the Super Show. Paul and Tony have been covering it on their stuff. Like, it's been on Card. I've been on Card Foundation. There's going to be Stacking Slabs that's coming. I was able to tape with Brett. So I mean, like, we are really doing sort of the rounds to promote this. Let's talk a little bit about the main event, because I think it's really where we've put so much work over the last probably 3 to 4 months. We've put just a ton of effort, a ton of resources behind it. Panini is the official sponsor. It's gonna be amazing. We have trading cards to give away. We have T-shirts to give away. We have a huge guest list of people coming, including some fun people that are going to join from wrestling social media, wrestling card social media, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, you name it. We've got people from all over social media coming to this event. We're also going to be on the main stage at on Thursday afternoon, 5 to 6 p.m. Paul and Tony will be hosting us, as well as a few others. I mean, I can't be more excited for them. Like, I've been to national conventions before. I've been through a lot of this stuff before. Never like this. This is going to be incredible.
No, I feel the same way. And if you've watched our previous videos, you'll know that I'm a national vet. I mean, this is show number 21 for me. This is the first time in a long time that I am really, really looking forward to it. I found myself going just to go, just to kind of like keep the Cal Ripken streak alive. And then one year in 2015, I had to work. I had to go away for work, and I couldn't. And it was funny because I actually caught my connector. It was in Chicago, 2015. I caught my connector back to. I was in O'Hare on that like Thursday,
Nice.
and I called my booking agency, and I said, if I want to stay, and it was such a goat rope to change my reservations. I said, forget it, because I was gonna
Yeah.
buy a ticket, walk in, look around, just so I could say I went to
Just
keep
so
the
I say
streak
what you
going.
went. Yeah.
Yeah, so
In
I didn't
spirit.
get
Yeah.
I didn't go in 2015. I've been going ever since, except for 2020 when it was closed down. And You know what, buddy? It's going to go so fast too. Like we're going to touch down on
I
Wednesday
know.
and Thursday, and then before
And
you know, it's going to be
by
Saturday. We're
yeah,
back on the plane, and it's just going to be a
yeah, it's
whirlwind.
too bad.
But it is. But
I wish there were more opportunities for us to get together, and that's really where I mean, like I think these shows, and I've said this now again, like we keep the same talk track kind of going because this is what drives us to a lot of these events is like, hey, a lot of people are going to be there. A lot of the collectors that we just talk with on social media, they're going to these things. Like this is about the people. It's not about the cards. Although the Rapper Redemptions will have WWE cards likely for the first time, the VIP packs will have WWE cards for the first time. Like that's not why we go. Like we go because we want to hang out. And now we've created this event where people can join up with other like-minded individuals, do some trading, do whatever, have a good time, be around other wrestling collectors, which I think has always been a sticking point for this show. We've made it a point to have this on Friday night where we feel the most people will be around Chicago. If you're not, we'll probably post some of it on YouTube and all sorts of other places.
yeah,
But man, I cannot. This is so much fun to be
I
able to
know,
think.
and I'm in Phoenix with Tony Vella from Wrestling Trading Cards, and I believe he's picking up the cards for the giveaway on Monday. I am driving up to a store on Tuesday to help assemble the sets. And make sure you're attached to all the social media accounts with the main event because I think we're going to take a couple quick videos in the store there just to show the cards actually in hand and what they look like so you can get an
Oh,
idea of
that's going
what's
to be
going
awesome.
on. So for those of you who don't know, we are giving away, we have 100 sets. That's a 5-card set. It's Becky Lynch, John Cena, Kurt Angle, Macho Man, and who's the last one
Ric
of the
Flair,
5?
Ric Flair,
Well, no, Flair's
Ric
6.
Flair.
Who's uh who's the last one? I can't remember.
Bret Hart, Bret Hart.
Bret Hart, yes. Sorry, Shane. Bret Hart. So
Yeah.
you'll get that set for coming in the door, first 100. Card number 6, you have to find one of the 6 of us and ask us for it. It's card number 6. It's Ric Flair. So we're going to be on the show floor. I know I personally will be posting into my social media. I'll be here at this spot for 5 minutes. Come find me. So make sure you're keeping up. Hopefully the internet holds up. But I think we'll be giving those out pretty quickly. So, but we've got giveaways. I mean, we got raffles slash giveaways. It's gonna be incredible. And unfortunately, it's gonna go so fast. It's gonna be a blur. It's just gonna be a blur, and it's gonna be awesome. And I hope you watching this can make it. I really do.
Yeah,
Because
and there's more people signed up than sets available, so you have to come and be a
that
part of
is
this
true.
early.
That is true.
Yeah, so
We are nearing 120 reservations as of this taping, and we only have 100 sets. So keep that in mind.
and we
That
only have space. We only have space for like 150 people, so like we're really
we're
playing
getting there.
with capacity here. And I can't, we were so impressed by the response. I know 120 people doesn't seem like a lot, but when you think about what wrestling has been at this show, like that's a huge. We expected to have like 50 people. We got space for 150. 120 have signed up. That's just an insane amount of people. We've got a lot of fun people from social media coming, Card Foundations coming, all the major people from WTC, a lot of the content creators that are going to be in the show are coming to this. So I mean, like we're really excited to have and host a night dedicated to wrestling just for the community and being a part of the community. Cannot wait. Make sure you're there. Email Chicago Main Event 2023 at gmail.com if you would like to be a part of this event. We are requiring people to do that for a number of different reasons, just so we can judge how many are actually going to come, which is already over what we expected. So really good to see that. Big thanks to Tony and Paul and Shane Norton, Sports Card Nobody, Kevin Kulikowski from New York Roadshow, Panini, our official sponsors. And then, of course, big thanks to everybody who has shared it and really been a part of the media blitz around it. Thank you to Brett for hosting me on the show. That'll drop on Friday of next week. I'm sort of spoiling that there. Sorry, Brett. Thanks to Drake Magruder, who's joining us on the panel. Like all these guys have really made this show just a memorable experience. Like you said, I think it's going to fly by. It's really unfortunate because I wish we're going to have an opportunity to do more of these with Fanatics sort of now doing Fanatics events. Maybe that's something that happens more frequently. Maybe we can do a few more wrestling nights around the world here with different people involved. So It's gonna be awesome.
When we first kicked this around and we thought, if we can get to 50, that's a winner. And we've blown past
Double
50.
that. Yeah.
And
And
I
if you
think we're
want,
going to
if
triple it. I think we're going to triple it by the time everything's said and done. So
I think so too. Yeah, and I think these sets are going to be awesome to have in hand. I can't wait to see how they turned out. But we will be giving a few of them away on social media, so follow our accounts. I'm at WWE Gelman on Instagram, at SC Uncensored on Twitter. I retweet everything that's related to the main event. Ryan, you can follow him as well. He's got a bunch of stuff that he's posted on Instagram. Tony and Paul at Wrestling Traded 2 on Twitter, but just search Wrestling Trading Cards. He'll pop up at card_guide for Paul. Shane is at Sport Card Nobody on Twitter and at Sports Card Nobody on Instagram. Really hard to remember all these. And then at New York Roadshow and Roadshow Cards, follow them as well. Really good stuff all around just for general wrestling content. I know Shane has put on a ton of podcasts as well. Great stuff there. But yeah, you can see us on where we're really trying to get this hyped up. Not because we need to make money or anything like that. That's not the goal here. This is a free event. The cards are free. Every giveaway is free. We are literally not taking anyone's money. We are looking to have this as a community meetup and really drive home how important it is to have a space for wrestling collectors at the national convention. So I'm really excited about that. And just come and say hi. Join us on the floor. I mean, I'll be there Wednesday through Saturday. I think Ryan will be there around the same time. So if you want to get an early Ric Flair, I think we're probably going to have to be the two. I think everybody else is getting in on Thursday. So you're probably going to have to find us a little bit earlier. But yeah, we'll be around.
I think we're waiting until Thursday, but I'm a big guy, but I got a soft heart. So I probably won't say no. I'll have them on me.
All right.
But yeah,
so we'll be around. Yeah.
It won't cost you a dime. Won't cost you a dime to come to this event. And you may walk out. I mean, you're going to walk out if you're one of the first 100. You're going to walk out with an awesome card set. You may walk out with, I don't know, some wax, maybe a shirt, maybe some new friends. I mean, it's going to be awesome. So
yeah,
make it.
So find us, have a good time with us. We're there for you guys and relate to enjoy the experience. Can't wait to talk to people. So Ryan, thanks again. We'll have this video up hopefully early this week. And I think, as we've said, hit us up, ask us questions, whatever you need. We're really doing this for the sake of the community and cannot wait for it to take place. Follow us again on social media for more content and just around the show itself in general. And then follow all the different people we've mentioned here because they're going to be there as well. So thanks again to all the people who have contributed and just follow them and really engage with their content because they do such a great job. And we'll see you there. Hey, I can't believe we're saying that already. It's been just a whirlwind. So
4 days. We'll see you guys in 4 days.
Absolutely incredible. Thanks, guys. See you soon.
Bye.